Thank you so much for joining me here. I know you have a bunch of things going on, so many exciting things, the Brain Balance. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about what you're up to?
Well, Brain Balance is a program for kids with developmental delays.
Okay.
And we are in the middle of an epidemic
Yeah.
in this country and actually around the world where more and more kids are having autism.
Yeah.
You know, autism is really the number one developmental delay that we see. There's others called ADHD, there's learning disorders and Tourette's and obsessive compulsive disorder and so forth. But it's sad that we're having this epidemic.
Yeah.
And today, 1 in 29 boys will have autism, born today in New Jersey.
1 in 29.
1 in 29. And then 5 to 10 more will have ADHD, and then 5 more will have learning disorders.
Right.
So it's a growing epidemic. It's getting worse every year. Sometimes they say it's due to like the environment.
Yeah.
That we're in now. There's a show on the other day that where a doctor from the University of Pennsylvania was talking about, everybody's accusing vaccination.
Yeah.
So, but I think the overall concern is what are our kids exposed to?
Yeah.
What activities are they involved in today that they weren't involved in years ago?
Absolutely.
And what are the possible triggers that kids are having these developmental delays?
Right.
What we did with the Brain Balance program, Dr. Malillo was a colleague of mine, wrote the book Disconnected Kids. And it's a parent's guide to really looking at their child to find out how their brain is operating.
Right.
Now, our program is more comprehensive and more intense.
Right.
But that gives parents an idea that their kids may have what we call functional disconnection.
Right.
And what functional disconnection is it's a developmental delay in which the brain is not developing at the rate it should.
Right.
And different parts of the brain are weak and they're disconnected and they're not serving them or functioning the way they should.
Right.
And what we have always done behavioral approaches and approaches with nutrition and so forth, but it's gotten to the point in which these delays are so severe and affecting kids so much, there needed to be something different.
Okay.
And Brain Balance is something different. So we assess the children in 2 parts. We want to look at how their sensory motor system is working, how their vision, how their auditory system is working, how they move and what their rhythm is, what their balance is.
Yeah.
And once we get that full assessment, then we know where the areas of the brain's not functioning.
Right.
And we also see if the brain is in balance, to the right side, to the left side.
Wow.
So we know that each side of the brain has different tasks to do and different functions.
Right.
So when we assess a child, we get to know whether it's a right hemisphere delay or a left hemisphere delay, and then we can apply the appropriate exercises in an integrated way so that the brain changes and they function better.
So is it a situation where, as a parent, and I have a young child, are there warning signs? I know there's various different things and some key things that we can look at. Is there anything that we can share with the audience as some key kind of warning signs that we can kind of look out for?
Simple things like delaying crawling, okay? Not development of their fine motor movements in their hands, delayed speech.
Right.
So anything that you see in which when the child's growing up, maybe they're 2-year-old, maybe they're functioning as a 1-year-old.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So you can actually see those delays and you can observe them.
Yeah.
And that's what parents when the parents come to us, they're usually in crisis.
Yeah.
They've tried everything, they don't know how to parent the child, they don't know what to do, and they're all really upset about not having any answers.
Yeah.
So when we do our assessment, it takes about 3.5 hours to 4 hours.
Right.
And we can really sit down with them and they have these aha moments like, I see that, and I see that.
Yeah.
And then our program's designed over a 3-month period of time to progressively challenge the child at that skill level so that they improve.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like strengthening the brain, like you would strengthen a muscle.
Yeah.
You need to do that activity to get it to work properly.
Yeah, like the practice those skills. And so talk to me a little bit more about, again, they're in the program for that 3-month period. What types of skills and what types of things or activities are they doing to kind of, for various?
Well, one of the major things that these kids have, that we notice with every child, is that they have trouble fixating with their eyes, okay? So if I look at my thumb and I turn my head, I can keep my eyes right on the finger.
Right.
A lot of these kids turn their head and their eyes move with their head, and they can't fixate. They can't have an image that stays where it should be,
Understood.
which affects their focus.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's just one little thing. Or when you bring your eyes together, the eyes should come together nice and smooth.
So what do you
Sometimes I
do
get an eye that that falls out.
Right.
Well, we just do those exercises, those
Right.
simple exercises. But the key is you need to do all the exercises at the same time.
Interesting.
Because nerves that fire together start to wire together.
Oh,
so
interesting.
that's what happens with the brain, and how you strengthen the brain is by strengthening interconnections.
Which I think is interesting to relate it to being an athlete, or the way in which you train just for anything else. You need to kind of train your brain, and therefore these skills can kind of become more evident in their lives, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, now with brain science, parents and kids they want to be super kids.
Right.
So they're looking at if they have any inner balance at all.
Right.
Let's go in and correct
My
it.
daughter's a super kid, obviously. Obviously. And then
she's a super kid.
Oh, obviously. So being able to figure out, so going through the program, just so when folks reach out to you, they're usually in crisis, but should they be reaching out a little bit earlier?
Well, we accept children at 4 years old up to 18.
Okay, wow.
Okay? And
that's great.
We have kids with all different labels.
Yeah.
But the labels aren't important to us.
Right.
Function is important to us.
Of course.
And so we have three major parts. We look at sensory motor. We look at their visual system, their auditory, everything integrating properly, and their movement system. And then we want to look at their cognitive skills, like reading, word reading, reading comprehension, numerical operations, math problem solving. And we want to see where they are there. So when a child comes for remediation in our center, they come 3 days a week for an hour. Wow. A half hour is sensory motor exercises. And then when they're done, they go right into our cognitive room. And then they do anything like reading, word recognition, math problem solving, numerical operations, and so forth. So every kid is unique, and every program is custom. And then the third part is nutrition. So we do nutritional testing. We want to know if the kids have food sensitivities. There's a lot out there about gluten. Right? We've done hundreds of kids, and we've gotten gluten sensitivities, but not that many.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Eggs and milk are the big ones that we've been finding. So but these are usually the foods that the kids want to eat all the time. So it's hard getting them off.
For sure.
But our nutrition coach knows what they're doing. She gets in with the families, helps them cook different, and so forth, and present meals that are tasteful and edible and so forth.
But this sounds so vast, and as a mother and as a friend of mothers that have these issues in their homes, sounds like an amazing program. So thank you very much for that. Where can people find more information about what you have going on?
Well, on Brain Balance Centers with an S.com.
All right.
We have centers all over Philadelphia. We have one in Glassboro, Wayne. We have one down in Delaware, Wilmington. My two centers, right? And I'm going to say my two centers are the best just because they're based
That's fair.
Is Springfield in Delaware County. And then in Mount Laurel, we call it our Cherry Hill Center, but we're right near Cherry Hill.
Right, on that cusp, right?
But, we don't want to cause any problems in South Jersey with that.
That's fair. So with an S, we will make sure to log on.
Brain Balance Centers with an S.
Absolutely.
Right. And our main number is 610-880-0009.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure to share all this information with our viewers and with our friends as well. Thanks so much for joining.
I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.